what you want someone to hear when you're listening. I actually think of a story, an interview I saw with Fred Rogers, Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood, and when he first started, in television, he was an assistant to Gabby Hayes, who was this television cowboy. And Fred said that he asked him in the Fred Rogers way, "Mr. Hayes, aren't you nervous when you know there's 1 million people out there, children listening to you?" And Gabby Hayes said, "You talk to one buckaroo at a time." And so I think that I try to remember that. I mean, you inhabit the characters and you want to see what's going on, but you also kind of try to maintain that intimacy, that because when someone's listening, they are, by and large, they might be listening in the car with 3 or 4 other people, but there's a good chance it's just you and them. And I think the really good storytellers in the broad speak, there's kind of an openness in their voice that you can detect about that, like the presence that you're looking for. And it's hard to, I hope I get there, and it's a hard thing to teach or to explain, except you just have a sense when that's there and happening. And so that's, I try to keep thinking about that too. Working on the voices for audiobook is interesting and challenging because you do have to kind of keep them all in your head. Having been a storyteller for years helps with that, because I've had the first thing you have to do is you got to know what your narrator's voice is, and it has to be a very comfortable voice for you because you're going to be in it a long time. And if I figured this out right, the character voices, the first thing is you got to figure out where you're going to put it in your head. Is it going to be up here? Is it going to be down? Is it going to be more in your chest? Is it going to be more in your throat? You can't put it in your throat too much because you'll hurt your voice. But once you figure out that, and then Charlie, there's a couple very New England characters in this book, but I didn't really want to make, although Charlie, could have a particular accent, but he's got a pretty flat accent that is going to reach across, I'm originally from the Midwest, so I think I've got some of that in me. But you want to have some little distinctive thing so that when you go to their voice, you know where a head goes in your voice, and you know the kind of couple little things that they have that is distinguishing. That said, I'm not an expert on dialect, and I'm not an expert on, I think there are other people who are, I'm not Mel, what's the guy's name? Mel Blanc, the guy who did all the Warner Brothers things. I'm not that, and I have a great respect for people who do that. But you got to find a little differentiation with each character. And a lot of it's where you put the voice in your head or your throat or your chest.